Welcome back to the scary stories you love to listen to. The first one is a true story. If anyone can help this person, comment if you have any advice, and email your scary stories to storyscary152@gmail.com. Hi, I'm anime_otaku21 and I need your help. Please listen to my story, it's real. I have a spectrophilia incident, a spirit attached to me that won't leave. I need help and yet I don't know who to turn to. If you don't know what spectrophilia is, it's a term that means sexual attraction to ghosts, or sexual encounters from ghosts. I'm not at all attracted to ghosts, since that isn't something I would do. I would never want to invite any evil spirits to inflict things upon me. So, how is it that I came across a spirit that won't leave me alone? This has been happening for the past 2 months, it's been on and off. I'd get feelings of being touched everywhere at first, I felt I was going crazy. The touches were so light that I had to itch whenever I would feel it. I played it off as my imagination, but I was wrong. The spirit did more, it followed me around. Every time I walked into the room or a bathroom when it was there, the light would flicker every once in a while. I had the feeling as though I was being watched everywhere I went. Once I realized a spirit was attached to me, like the second day, I called upon the Lord's name to force any evil spirits to leave. I had my friend put holy water on my cross necklace I wear everywhere I go. I even read the Bible out loud and continued to pray for the spirit to leave. I told the spirit it wasn't alive anymore, and it needed to move on. Nothing worked, it was as if the spirit had its own free will. So, I don't know what to do. If it were a demon, it should have left when I called out the Lord's name. Since the Lord gave humans free will, I'm assuming the spirit attached to me is someone who passed on already. I don't know why it got attached to me of all people, it just won't leave. In bed is where the spirit does more than just simple little touches. I can feel its warmth as if it were cuddling me. It's not always as peaceful as that, though. It would break boundaries and start to have intercourse with me. I know how that sounds, feeling something without anything around me. It's crazy, right? It's different though than I could ever imagine, it feels real. Real hands, real arms, real body heat. The first moment I experienced this, I was terrified. I was completely awake through it all, it wasn't sleep paralysis. It even happens during the day. It did today at church as well. It started making sexual advances, such as stroking my leg while at church. I'm a Christian, I have been my whole life. I don't understand why this could be happening to me, which is why I need as much help as I can get. Please, if anyone has experienced this before, please tell me how to force the spirit to leave. I don't know what to do. I can't sleep that well from the spirit doing things to me at night. I tell it no, but the spirit never listens. If anyone knows any facts on orb colors too, I saw its form once. I was in my bedroom yesterday working on my college assignments. In the corner of my eye, slightly above me, I thought I saw a black fly go across the room. When I looked around, there wasn't any black fly. So, I went back to working on my assignments. Then I saw it again on my right side, and realized that it wasn't a fly. It was an orb colored black, it continued to appear and disappear occasionally. Before this though, when the spirit first appeared, and I had the first incident from this spirit. I saw a white orb just above my bedroom door that night. I don't know if that helps at all, but I need to do something about it. I can't just ignore it either, it does what it wants when it wants, even in public. Even if you have advice on where to find a Christian that has knowledge on ghosts or evil spirits, please let me know. I just want my life back the way it used to be. Hi, I'm ROTN Daughters 66 and I have a scary story with the title, The House of Souls. As I write this, my hands shake, and my palms are sweaty. This one story I wish not to tell, but maybe putting it down on paper will stop the nightmares. I live in a small town of Dawn's Field, a place where you most likely just pass through, but living here is so much more than meets the eye. I was born and raised among the old shops and friendly residents. Here everyone was family, while it is still true that every town had its darkness. Ours was called House of Souls, a huge two-level old Victorian home that still stood. This home belonged to one of the founders of Dawn's Field, Jacob Dawn. His family helped build this community and even made this little town into a place of happiness for a good couple of years. But Jacob's story was a sad one as he lost his wife and unborn child. While he was out traveling she had fallen ill, and when word got to Jacob, they were gone before he could arrive home. He started into an odd hobby after that, making dolls and filling his house with them. From large life-size dolls to smaller versions, this started to become a problem. Jacob's mind had faded, as he would soon sleep with them, and treat them as if they were real. Everyone in the town was worried as Jacob started to show an odd rage after a visitor damaged his favorite doll. He was taken from his home and put in an asylum. As for the house, the town had purchased it and tried to fix it up, but something about the house made it hard for it to even sell. His dolls and belongings were kept inside, as the town started to whisper about a curse in the house and all the dolls that he made. The legend goes that he was doing something dark within the walls, and when the town was trying to remove the dolls from their home, a strange sickness would attack them. If you died in the house, they said your souls would be collected in the dolls. Of course, when you were only 16 this seemed like a silly ghost story. I should have been more careful and not done anything, but I had to know the truth about that house. Are you kidding me? My parents looked at me like I was crazy. This is the second time this week you got into trouble. My father said after the police left our house. I was labeled the town's troublemaker. Everyone would watch the moment we come into town, even if my parents were with me. Tonight I had done something bad, broken into a local bakery all because my friends and I were hungry. I know stupid we could have gone home, or just find a better way of getting food, but that cake looked good. You are grounded. My father told me as I noticed the upset expression that Mother wore. Once upstairs, I waited until my parents were gone to bed. Hey, you still up? I texted Nancy, one of my best friends since grade school. She answered a few moments later, as we talked most of the night. Yeah, my parents were pissed. I replied after finding her parents grounded her as well. But as teenagers we just laughed, knowing we would still hang out even if it meant without our parents knowing. Did Alice get grounded as well? I asked, but was in disbelief to find out she ran before the cops got there. I know, she's the only one who chickened out, Nancy said, adding a pissed-off emoticon next to her words. I didn't blame Alice. After all, she only just started hanging out with us a few months ago. She was a shy type of girl who never really liked the ideas I had, but for some reason she kept just coming back every day to hang out. Me and Nancy were confused, but we didn't think too much on the subject, as we loved her company all the same. Finally, I retired to bed, barely able to stay awake any longer. Tomorrow it was the day I had been waiting for. In fact, my friends knew my excitement for months. Early that morning I gathered my bag and rushed out into the street waving as Nancy waited by my mailbox. Hey, so no Alice? Nancy rolled her eyes but noticing my expression, Hey, she just started to really hang out with us. Don't blame her, I said, almost annoyed. Okay, sorry, just upset that we got in trouble, she said while taking a drink from her water bottle. Nancy was the one to easily get upset when she didn't get her way, so I had to put her in place a lot. We walked over to Alice's house, but her parents' car wasn't there, which meant Alice was left home alone or she went somewhere. I rang the doorbell twice before she answered. Hey, she said, almost fearful of us. While Nancy still wore a hateful expression, I just laughed. Don't worry, I'd rather get into trouble than you. She smiled. Feel better, we started for school as we talked about tonight's plan. But you guys are grounded, Alice said, shocked when she knew it would be another idea ending in us getting into trouble again. Nancy's face puckered, but I stopped her. I know, but we won't get caught this time, I said, smiling at her. I knew in the end that Alice would say no, well at first, but she always had a way of showing up anyways. The rest of school we didn't talk about it, but I knew I had to find out about the House of Souls. Bye guys, I waved as we walked off toward home. I can't wait to see what the big talk was really about. After all, it was just a house, right? I waited as the clock ticked, slowly driving me insane. Looking over the notes I had taken, it was almost too much to take in. This house had so much history, in fact it dated back to more deaths and tragic ends. Either way, tonight I would find out just how true the legend was. I waited at the park entrance about 9 p.m., of course staying in sight. The odd noise would make me jump, but soon I saw Nancy waving as she greeted me in my hiding spot. No, Alice, she said almost happily. For once that it was just us. I had to admit it was nice because I feared risking Alice's reputation as the nice kid of the town. Possibly decided to be smart for once, I said, walking down the sidewalk. Who is smart for once? We turned. I called it. Alice stood with a book bag and flashlight in hand. Nancy groaned, but I knew. A spotted smile came across her face. Hey Alice, this way. The girls followed me into the woods, our flashlights showing our way as we walked. The House of Souls was on the edge of town, of course blocked by city fences around the area, but that wouldn't stop me. This way, I pointed to a part of the fence that I pre-cut. The girls followed me in. I was shocked that Alice came so willingly. You know, this place houses over 100 souls, I said. Nancy just shook her head and Alice laughed a little. You are such a nerd, Nancy mocked but smiled, looking up at the house. The house itself still stood in good condition, maybe just a bit repaired on the outside, but it still had the same beauty as in all the pictures I had seen. Okay, fearless leader, how do we get in? I studied around the house, even walking around the back looking for an opening. Finally I saw a broken window that was on the lower level. I quickly climbed into the window, waiting as Nancy and Alice followed close behind. Would look at this place, I said excitedly. Sure, let's not forget all the eyes watching us, Nancy said, creeped by the many dolls' eyes that seemed to be looking towards us. I only laughed. I was never fearful of dolls, but now looking at the room around us, I could tell Nancy was right. Their faded eyes and damaged clothes made them look far more creepy than normal, but it was the life-size dolls that really made me uneasy. We explored the house as each room was filled with the dolls and other strange items. Jacob was crazy, Nancy said, feeling uneasy as Alice grabbed onto my coat, hugging against me. I didn't notice at first, but Alice told us the dolls were turning their heads as we walked around following us. An odd noise seemed to catch my attention every now and then, a low hiss or growl that would be but a distance away from us. Okay, can we go? Alice begs. Nancy just nods, agreeing for once in her life. Okay. Let's go, I said, knowing for once my idea was a horrible one. We started for the window, looking around us, the low growl seemed to get louder with each step we took. Alice yelled and bolted toward the next room. "Alice," I screamed, but only turned to see a strange man on the staircase looking at us. The three of us made our way toward the window. Me and Nancy jumped out hitting the grass outside, but Alice, oh God, she was climbing out and a large piece sliced into her. Only the top half of her body hit the grass. Fuck, we bolted toward the fence, the dark-eyed man now standing at the window looking out at us. "We didn't know how to tell your parents, in fact we kept it quiet and watched the town look for Alice for months only to find nothing." My mind couldn't get past the images of Alice or the strange man. I ended up sneaking back into the house one last time. Stupid, I know. But I noticed sitting on the couch was a doll with long brown hair. Her eyes alone told me the horrible truth. Alice's soul was collected, and the strange man had gained a new family member because of me. We've come to the end of this collection. You can like and subscribe for more stories.